Hi, Delusion Dispeller back again. Well, as I was saying on the last video, what Pastor Penner's response was very telling to me. First of all, it resulted in a phone conversation between the two of us, in which I said, Pastor Penner, I have a question. First of all, I noticed that Shari's microphone is always turned up the loudest. And in fact, at first, Shari was the only one with a microphone. But now that the other singers have auditioned and have been chosen for the worship team, none of us are ever turned up loud enough. And then for this outdoor church activity we had where we were supposed to sing, you didn't give any of us microphones. Shari was the only one, and the guitarist, that had a microphone. His response was, Shari came here when we didn't have anybody to lead worship. And she was so good to do that we just pretty much let her do however she wants with the worship team. She's in charge of that. We don't tell her how to do it. We try to encourage her because she can't handle criticism very well at all, which he had told us to begin with. That was one of the first things he said to us when we approached him about Shari being the only one with the microphone the first time. Oh, don't say anything negative to her. She can't handle criticism. I knew at that point. Narcissist, hello, image, entitlement to be the only one with the microphone, can't handle people saying negative things to her. Narcissism. It screamed it like in flashing lights to me. Narcissist, narcissist, narcissist. So anyways, oh, and he had approached me. He said, and Shari told me that you said she's a narcissist, and that's not very encouraging and supportive, and blah, blah, blah. I said, I told her in response to her question that she was a narcissist. She came to me and asked me about it. I simply answered, okay. He's like, well, anyways, so what is your problem with what happened in the outdoor thing? And I said, my problem is, it's not really a problem. I just wondered why, again, her microphone was not only turned up the loudest, but she's the only one that got one. Well, he pointed to another person in the worship team and said, well, so-and-so didn't want to set up the microphones. It was too much work, blah, blah, blah. And then he said, and to be honest with you, we really didn't want the four of you to necessarily be heard that day. You were just physical examples of worship for the congregation. My jaw just about hit the floor. I was like, are you kidding me? We were visual, physical examples of worship. He didn't really want us to be heard necessarily. Come on. Seriously? Okay, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm just jumping the gun here and thinking, well, you know, I'm singing, so I guess maybe I should be heard, and this other person should be heard, and that person should be heard. Because we are a worship team, it kind of stands to reason that if you're a team, you all sing together, right? Okay, well, apparently not to them. So I started talking to other worship leaders and told them the situation, not naming names, just saying, if this happened, what would you think of it? Just, first of all, the leader was the only one with a microphone, and then after people auditioned and they could sing, then they only let the main person have the mic at all. People that were on other worship teams were like, that's insane. That's it totally defeats the purpose of a team. I said, I get that. They said, that's just crazy. And then I told them Pastor Penner's response, and they were like, yeah, no, something's wrong there. He's playing favorites, and obviously something's going on with him and Shari that's happening behind the scenes. Okay, so that was whatever it was. I just kind of let it go. All right, so my current husband and I are of a different type of belief system. We are Rhema believers, and this church was not a Rhema church, and we had talked to the pastor about that a few times. And he had said on this phone call, you know, I've been thinking, and I think maybe you and your husband should try to start looking to see if there's other churches that you might be more comfortable in, you know, that is more of your spiritual persuasion. And I said, you know what, I'm happy where we are, but yeah, I see what you're saying. So maybe we will. Okay, so I decided to do the church search thing. And I'm going to tell you in the next video how that all went down. Very interesting again.